Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. A new major update has been released, and along with it the Wasteland DLC pack, which is what we're going to look at today. So this pack features a bunch of cool looking items that fit the theme over the brand new update, and none of the blocks, especially the wheels, have any form of advantage over the base game blocks. So we're going to come all the way over to here, and we're going to go through all the little blocks, starting with what I think is the best block out of the pack, and that is the exhaust pipe. So this is a very fancy particle emitter block where we can change what it's spewing out at the top, and it uses basically no power to achieve this. Coming over to the block itself, we've got a bunch of pipes and wires going all the way around the outside, and if we move all the way towards the top of this along our little white pipes, which can be coloured, we come to the end where our particle is going to be shooting out. If I bring my character all the way over to this handy little chair I made earlier, we can go through some of the effects. So just tilting my camera up and pressing I, coming to the control panel, finding the pipe, we then have the exhaust effect, where we can change it to say a fiery effect if we want to make a flamethrower mech arm, or we can come over to here and change it to a more electrical. So here we go, we then get some sparks coming out with a little bit of smoke, and coming over to one more before we move on. Let's go over to the reactor smoke, which would then be a green smoke. As you can see there, we've got quite a lot of stuff to play around with, and a lot of different stuff to fit different themes that you are building, such as the arc, which is just going to be constantly spewing out like a Tesla coil, and all that. Let's leave it like that. So moving over to the second block in the pack, we've got our viewport number 1 and number 2. Both the blocks are offset, and they're basically the same except for our bottom panels. So coming over to this one, we've got ourselves a lovely little window to view out of, and down here we've got a very clean design. On the side here, this is what we get, again a very clean design, and at the back, there we go. For viewport number 2, which is a different variation of that one, we lose our bottom clean panels, and instead we can view inside at our pipes and our wires moving all the way along, with a tiny little gauge there being a pretend pressure thingamabob. Yes, as we come around to the side there, instead of having a panel covering that up, we can see the ends of our pipes and our wires. And there we go, they're exactly the same. Then moving across over to here, we've got our big boy wheels, the off-road wheels in our 3x3, 5x5 and 1x1. They are slightly different from our regular wheels with the fact of their little tyre setup and the little holes that go all the way through them. Got our lovely little rims right there, which I think they're rims. I'm not very good with cars, perhaps someone could correct me on that. They do look very fancy compared to our regular vanilla wheels. And they do get even better. If I was to come all the way over to here, we've got some fancy suspensions which they come across to. We've got more pipes, more wires and all that coming along to our base. Coming all the way around over to here, we can see how that's been connected up like so. Then if we move all the way around to the very back, we then got that, which is a very nice detail that we'll never really see, but it does look good. Then we come across to our 5x5 wheel, which is just a slightly bigger one and easier to view. Got our lovely little interior parts. Then we've got our little tyre tracks on the side there, and a much bigger suspension. Then we come across to our 1x1, which is right here, which is a tiddly little thing, looks rather silly on the large suspension, but is basically just a squished down version of the other two. So there we go. Now we can move all the way across over to here. We've got some more base decorations in the form of our storage shelves. Now these storage shelves don't actually store anything, they're just purely there for decoration. I can't click on anything on here, they're just there to look pretty. So yes, we've got number 1 where we can see our small steel tubes, our steel plates all neatly wrapped up and placed in trays. And down here it looks like we've got some med packs ready to go. If I zoom all the way up like so and look down, we've got a lovely little grate pit on the top and some more steel plates and more steel pipes just being strapped down. Then moving over to this one, we lose our small steel tubes and our steel plates for girders, metal grids and our batteries which are strapped down at the bottom, but it's largely set up the same. We've still got our straps on the top and the middle, and we've got our little boxes on the side. Then the third one, over to here, we then got parts for our cars, which are our rotors. We got some superconductor coils, and a few more bits and bobs that I can't recognise off the top of my head. There we are, we got 3 of the same block, with just different items on them. And then we can move across onto the small block stuff, which is going to be our Buggy Cockpit, which is a replacement for the newly added rover cockpit. So coming over to here and typing in a rover, this is one of the new blocks added in with the major update for everyone to use. And we've got our Buggy Cockpit right here, which is from the DLC pack, which behaves exactly the same, just looks a little bit different. Where we've got, if I sit in here, our little controls to turn this thing around. We can see little button panels below our LCD screens, 3 LCD screens so we can see what's going on. And looking up and around, we've got a lovely little safety bar going around to make sure if we roll over, nothing bad is going to happen to us. Yes, getting a better look at this model, we can see there are little gauges on the side there, little buttons, what looks like audio cables to be connected into. And at the back, there's the back of our chair, there's the side, and there's the front. If you move over to here, these are some very nice little blocks to go along with our Buggy Cockpit. And this is the offset spotlight and the offset light. These are essentially our front car lights and our brake lights. Where we come up to and look at them, there we go, there's our brake lights. And there is our spotlights. All these can be coloured in the traditional fashion of all the other lights. And if I was to change this to nighttime, we can see how this glows. Coming over to here and making it nighttime. There we go. They're not very bright. I do have intensity put all the way up on them. So yes, you may need to rely on the traditional spotlights and lights if you wish to light up your way in the darkness. But as for decorations, they do look good. But bringing the light all the way back round again, we can then come across onto our barred windows, which are basically just our window blocks, but without the glass on them, and instead we've got metal bars going all the way through. So we've got our simple square bar, got then our diagonal, our corner window, and of course our corner window. There we go, they're just very nice, don't really need to explain them, they should be fairly self-explanatory. So moving on to the next thing, which is going to be our block skins. We've got ourselves 4 lovely block skins to go through, and they do look great. So starting with, let's go over to this one like this, because this is the least impressive out of the 4, which is the dust armor. Now it looks kind of like the regular steel block armor, but it's got a little bit of dust all throughout the cracks on this. If I was just to come over to here and say change the color and switch this over to the dust, it's quite hard to tell the difference between the regular armored blocks, but it does have a tiny sprinkling of dust on there, which does suit the new planet. Then moving across over to here, we've got ourselves our retro future armor, which is a very shiny version of the battered armored blocks. So it's a combination of, say, the silver and that, and we get some very nice effects over it. Super shiny, and it does change color if we were to change the color ourselves. Go like that. Make that, and get a shiny black, shiny white, shiny yellow, which comes very gold looking. That is that one. Then moving across over to here, we've got our heavy rust armor, which does look fantastic if you're making a derelict ship or a derelict base somewhere out in the middle of the planet. So we've got some very nice rusted textures there. You should be able to see it. Hopefully the YouTube compression doesn't ruin this. Yes, it goes all the way around the outside, and we've got little parts missing, such as the armor is sort of flaking a little bit, and of course all the little grooves going out of this armor are very wonky and chipped away. And once again, we can change the color if I was to select the right one, and there we go, just change the color, and yes, we do get a slight change with that. If I was just to change this over to, say, a red, there we go, we get a nice little red with lots of little dark splotches all over it, to show that it's fading away. And then last but not least, we've got ourselves a concrete armor block, which is very much needed if you're making a traditional house, and it goes very well with our wooden skin block. This is just simply a concrete block, and it's pretty much what you expect. We've got tiny little cracks going all the way through it, and we've got little holes in there because there's little oxygen pockets when we laid this concrete down, and we can once again change the color of it. There we go. So it's very nice stuff. And that pretty much covers what you get in the DLC pack. There are some armor skins which I suppose I could go through right now, and there are 2 emotes to go through, but yeah, that is generally the gist of what we get in the pack. So coming all the way over to here and coming into the, let's just hide our duplicates, and if we want to find the Scavenger set. So there we go, we can actually make this clip together. That's what we get. We've got a spacesuit, but it looks like it has goggles on it. It's a very weird thing to look at. If you're just coming around to here and bring the free camera over to get a better look, this is what we get. So yes, it kind of reminds me of the sand people from Star Wars a little bit, the way it's been set up. But it's quite funny to look at that. and then all the way around and down. Yes, we are quite dusty all the way over, and it's a very makeshift suit with rusted parts on it, so don't expect to survive too long while wearing this armor. And in fact, while I'm over here and have the free camera, let's go through the emotes that we got. If I bring up the HUD and go to a clean tab and come over to the emotes, we have got the Bite Me emote. There we go. And then we have our drunk emote, which is because we've been at the bar for too long. And there we go, we just sort of wobble around a little bit, and then we touch our head to make sure we can stop the world from spinning around. And we'll just keep wobbling around for quite some time until we regain our senses. And there we go. So yes, now that is officially everything with the DLC pack. I won't go over the vanilla pack because everybody gets access to that, and it's mainly just the missing corner blocks to be able to make a more pointy ship. The new planet as well, which is very nice, and I'll touch on the scrap race in another video because it's quite a fun little game mode. But yes, that is it for the little look at the new DLC pack. We got some nice blocks in here, nothing that we can't really replace with something off the workshop that a modder has created, but they are quite nice just to have in the game without adding the mods through the menu. So yes, like I said, that is it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.